Here we go. Douglas Cooling and Heating bringing you the show this hour. It's time of year to get your heating and air inspected. It really is. I know it's hot, and we've got an even hotter week coming next week, so we've still got plenty of AC season coming. But believe it or not, just a few weeks we'll be turning those heaters on. And you know that funky little weird smell you get at the beginning of the year when everything so it smells like there's something on fire. Generally, that's just debris and dust and stuff that collects in your system. Most of the time it's going to burn off, but it's weird at first. That means you also didn't get it cleaned and inspected. So we need to do that, giving that thing a bath and a spa treatment every now and then, checking out all the connections and the elements that provide the heat. One, it's just smart, it's efficient, helps your system, but it also it eliminates the possibility of any kind of fire hazard, any kind of carbon monoxide leak, or you don't need any of that if you're running gas or any of those things. So let Douglas come out and do it. They're ready to tune you up. Been around since 1972. The Google people give them a 4.9. I think it is the last rating I saw. License number 2017181. Go ahead and take care of your business now. Before you get in a rush, we're going to get in a rush and get busy for the fall. Douglas Cooling and Heating. CallDouglas.com is their website. CallDouglas.com. Let me go back to the beef story. That's the one to me that just connects the most. The other headline this hour is they've sent the jury home in this Lindsay Clancy case, which for the life of me, I wish I could just avoid talking about, but I sort of feel obligated to keep you updated. The nation is now watching this story. I don't think that bodes well for the prosecution, but we'll see come Monday. They're back in there at 8 o'clock our time in Plymouth, Massachusetts on Monday. But the beef story is really getting a lot of attention online, and I'll see if I can summarize it again and give you a couple more notes on it this hour. First up, so what the president has done with beef prices going up for all of us at your restaurants and the grocery stores, and it's a problem and a system that's been building toward this for a long time. You throw in the other disruptions and drought, family farms going away, the whole industry's changed. But one of the things that irks a lot of consumers, a lot of ranchers and others, is the absolute chokehold that the four major processors have on that whole industry. When you've got to go through them to get your stuff to the major markets, especially if you're a mass grower. I know some of the smaller growers can go a little bit more farm to table in their communities, but you still got USDA requirements and inspections and things to go through. We just add so many layers between the farmer and you that we've created a system that not only has become more expensive whenever we have incidents like this cattle population that's way down right now that needs to be rebuilt. The economics have got to be there for the farmers. Some of those economics have forced these guys out of business. A lot of the larger ranchers are just beholden to the packers because that's their access to the market. And some of these meat processors they've been combined with Chinese firms and other foreign firms. So Trump today sort of threw down the opening salvo in a war against that monopolistic system. And he put out a statement which has fired a lot of people up, but I don't think is enough because there's only so much power a president has without the support of Congress. So basically, they're trying to, the way Trump put it was come up with the legal papers, is I think the way he put it in his statement, to support farmers being able to process their own products and sell more directly to direct markets, thus bypassing the monopoly that these packers have. And the way these packers work, my understanding is, they are almost territorial. In some regions, you don't have all four to choose from. They've got a territory. If you're raising chickens in Alabama, you pretty much got to go to Tyson. And then it's Cargill and Tyson and all these big names. So my argument is twofold. I think you're going to have to give some time for this to work because the farmers have got to find those markets, set up the process to do it. They'll have to invest in some of the meat processing equipment or find somebody to do that on their behalf that's a more small person and more competitive. You got to get that supply chain worked out. They've got to do the marketing and let you know where they are. Many of you, and I've seen a lot of tips on this from people that have just been submitting stuff since I brought this up last hour. Some of you have good local places that you already source, and that's wonderful. If you can find that, go out of your way to skip that gray stuff at the grocery stores and find your meat fresh. Even if you have to pay a little more for it, you're in the long run going to be way better off if you have that capability. I know Auburn has, they do so much research with all the ag stuff down there. I think they even call it the meat lab, but people buy direct from down there. There are other smaller processors and people. We had a little processor in my hometown called Clark Brothers, and I guess they're still there, but that was a very local meat processor. Things used to be closer to home. The farmer and the processor and the consumer were all within driving range of each other. It was the economics of the only way it could work. Cattle farmers didn't consider, having 5,000 head and shipping it around the world. It was very local. It's how we ate. It's how we survived as people. And that got busted up and consolidated, and it's a mess. So Trump is putting out guidance to create some, quote, legal paperwork to protect the farmers and get them into a more direct to consumer sales, or to give them outlets for processing, which is good. But here are the drawbacks, and then we'll get on the phones. First of all, you've got to have Congress to really make this stick. The regulatory environment, the USDA's power, you can rein it in as president. That's an agency under his purview. There's a lot of wiggle room along the guidance lines with them, but it's gone in 2 years when he's no longer president if it's not codified. And like everything else this president's attempting to do to reform things, Congress isn't really backing him up the way they should. Sometimes the House will do it. I've been more impressed with the House in the last couple of years than I have the Senate. But this is important. And you had a lot of people mouthing off, including a lot of senators last week, over the attempt that Trump, well, not attempt, the rule that he made to pull the tariffs off the imported beef to get more supply in the system. That was aimed at the consumers. That was never going to help the farmers. Farmers didn't like it. The local cattle farmers didn't like the additional product coming online. That was an effort to get more in there so that ground beef can be made. And I got a story about that too in a minute. So I applaud the president. I applaud him, even more than making this move to go after these big processors. He listened to pushback. He and his team, I credit his team. There were a lot of us that pushed back on the Argentinian thing. Not that it alone was just going to be permanent. That wasn't a permanent solution. But come on, man. If you really mean it, do the processor thing. And they did it today. So we'll see how it plays out. But again, it's going to take a while for this to affect prices. I don't even know that this is going to help anything before the midterms. We're into the season now, and it takes a few cycles to start making this stuff make sense. In other words, some of these cattle farms already have, the cows they have on the ground are already accounted for in terms of contracts they have to produce this meat for those same processors. They're going to have to come up with additional cattle to sell to the alternative system that's being worked on. So y'all be patient, give it time. It's just like the price situation with energy and oil. We got to work through this, but in the end, we are reestablishing ourselves as a country with our freedom and independence of industry and production. I talked about it yesterday. The manufacturer confidence is through the roof. It's Reagan era numbers. We went through that a little bit yesterday. That's a good future sign. That's called the leading indicator. That means if you're optimistic now, that means good things are on the horizon. We still got the Fed may try to raise interest rates. We're in a back and forth, and this meat thing is going to take a minute to get going. I saw a demonstration this morning because beef is front and center right now in one of the political conversations. But this woman went and bought some store-bought beef, which God knows where it came from. It was ground beef, so even more so. You don't even know what's ground up in there. And then she went to a local farmer that had the ability to sell the same stuff and cooked it side by side. Y'all, the store-bought stuff was disgusting. You couldn't even smell it. You could just see the video, and she described the smell, but it was gray and weird. And we're so used to that change over time that we don't remember what good beef tastes like sometimes, unless, of course, you've got one of these quality sources. We've come to expect this gray stuff that we put on hamburgers is what a hamburger ought to look like. And if you go look at that side by side, it's shocking. It'll remind you of your childhood. I've told my tomato story over and over and over about me biting into a tomato over in Italy. My first real meal that I had there. I sat down, waiter brings out this big plate. It was whatever that tomato thing is that my wife always orders with the cheese on it that we love. And I forget the name of all the dishes. Dude, I bit into that tomato and I felt like I was sitting in my grandmother's kitchen. I'd forgotten that tomatoes are supposed to taste like that and look like that. And the color is supposed to be like that. And we've gotten used to these sad, hard, tasteless things that are so processed and sent to us the way the system works. It's all of our food. We just have corporatized it too much. Local is better every single time. And we need more local economies built around that. That makes us more bulletproof. When you've got local farmers that can produce for restaurants and grocery stores here nearby and have a way to get that stuff processed, it's going to be fresher. It's going to be, freshly to the market. They're going to put pride into it because they likely know the very consumers they're selling to. But when it was coming from who knows where, out of these mega plants all over the place, getting shipped all over the world, it's just that's how we got here. And like I said in the first hour, I think a lot of the health concerns in this country are directly attributable to the trash food that we have. I mean, it's breads. We think we're doing well sometimes by eating our fruits and vegetables. Even they're GMO'd and sprayed with so many things that they've got their own problems. We really need to take this seriously. The lasting impact of Trump, I think it's going to be the reindustrialization, not just the international stuff, but here at home, closing the border, reindustrializing the country. But if we can fix this food supply, that's going to be one of the most lasting effects of this administration that Trump will ever have. He'll never get credit for it. But if we can right the ship when it comes to what we eat and consumers start paying attention and create political pressure this way and get these people in Congress to go along, we will have almost saved this country from crazy calamity. All right, let's hit the phones. Michael is over here on line 2. What's on your mind, Michael? AJ, is Michael there? Line 2.
I'm here.
Hey, Michael, go ahead, man.
All right. So in the last hour, everybody was talking about the bridge from Stockton and Bay Minette into Saraland, 65, is the Dolly Parton Bridge. So I am from North Baldwin County, and I just want to set the record straight that it always has been, is, and will be the Dolly Parton Bridge, no matter what or whom it's named for. And not only that, but like if you're ever launching from that area in the Mobile-Tensaw Delta and you're riding down there on your vessel, you'll probably find that the Dolly Parton Bridge is a great place to go motorboating. So there's that.
Motorboating. Good job, Michael. That's how you do it. Yeah, we'll always call it that. But I'm saying if you're going to go do something formal with the state, just make it formal, and it'll wind up being on the tourist list. I guarantee it. Michael, good call, man. Randy is up next over here on line 3. What's up, Randy?
Not much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Okay. In Jasper, Alabama, on Highway 195, this guy come in there. He bought a bunch of farmland up, and he's raising his own cattle. He kills his own cattle, processes his own cattle, sells it in that store there, and plus he sells it to 2 restaurants and 1 local grocery store.
Yeah,
and,
I mean we've got some people that are able to set up that whole supply chain and make it work economically for them. There are little pockets of that all over the country. And if you have a source like that, you're ahead of the rest of us.
Yeah, like you said, the taste, I bought some hamburger meat there.
Yep.
And then I bought some hamburger meat at Walmart's. I threw the Walmart meat out to my dog.
Did the dog even eat it? And did the dog even want it?
Nope.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Nope.
The dog's like, why you got to treat me like this, man? I'm calling PETA.
I'm going to tell you, that the hamburger meat there at that store there is $7 a pound for ground hamburger meat. That's cheaper than Walmart's.
Well, that's a good thing, man. Randy, good call, man. Let me get to Tom real quick, and then we're going to hit the break. Don't want to get too far behind. Tom, what's on your mind today, my friend?
Hi, guys. Well, I
Hey.
was going to talk about this space thing. I don't think it's real. But
What
when
space
you got
thing?
talking about, the astronauts going to the moon and all that
Trump,
sort of thing.
Trump did a thing on that today. We're going back to the lunar surface. Yeah, of course we are. Don't be one of those. Come on, man.
No, I'm sorry, man. I was in the military. I know what was happening. But in any case,
I mean, we're talking about the
also
future. We're not talking about the
the-
Apollo missions. You don't think we're capable of doing it? You think we're faking
No.
it again?
no.
Do you think if
What do you
Trump were to
think? You
fake
think
that,
Richard
that
Nixon could use a telephone,
Richard Nixon's dead.
an
If
analog telephone, and talk to the men on the moon?
Trump, no,
Oh,
they had
please.
they had communication. Listen, you're talking about the '60s. Where did Tom go?
He's dropped off.
I love conspiracy theories that also can't back it up. Look, anyway, we'll talk about that next segment. I got to go. Break. Well, first up, let me talk about Ox Foundation Solutions. Get them over to your house if you got anything going janky underneath your floorboards, and it can happen quickly. We've had such a wet season. It's the soil type we have. It's our topography with the way that water runs. It's all the water. We're prone to cracks and shifts and erosion here around Alabama. And Ox is the premier company to come deal with it. If you've got a house slipping, cracks going on, starting to see some water coming in, whether it's seeping in or pouring in, the sooner you deal with that, the better. Just because it's down below doesn't mean you're okay. If it was coming in your roof, you'd be hitting the alarm bells. Take care of it. And Ox is the company. They can do mold remediation and removal, encapsulation, all of it. Driveway leveling, sidewalk leveling. This is the premier company I would have come to you. Oxstrong.com, oxstrong.com. Back in just a minute. Stay tuned. Y'all, it's 326, Leland Live, talking to M5. I heard from AJ, I heard from an old friend of ours we used to work together, Jennifer, today. And guess what? They were going to Birmingham Broker. She goes, tell me who to talk to at Birmingham Broker. They were actually had their mind on buying one. So I immediately connected her with Craig and Keith. And I was like, oh, those guys will take care of you. Birmingham Broker, been with us for years. And I love it when friends can go and get a deal with these guys, either whether you're selling. Now mainly they're brokers, so they're going to sell the car for you. But because they are sellers, naturally, if you're a buyer, they got stuff on the lot too, stuff that's fresh in on the lot that they're turning around. This is the way to get one sold, though, if you're out there trying to do a trade deal. And because sometimes it's just time to trade. You just got to move up or move down or get a different type vehicle or just a new one. And Craig and Keith save you all that hassle, all that trouble, and you get a retail check, and that's the best part. It's Birmingham Broker, bhambroker.com. They're downtown Birmingham, 4th Avenue South, easy to find near Iron City. And on the buyer side, yeah, look around. Sometimes you can go on their website and see what they've got listed, and they will get you connected. And you're buying, from local sellers after they get the car brokered car, truck, SUV, whatever you're looking for. It's bhambroker.com, bhambroker.com. Do we still have Chris over here? Have I lost track of the calls, AJ, or are we clear? Are we clear right now?
We got Chris.
Chris is there. Okay, I want to make sure. Chris, what's up, man?
Leland, what's going on, buddy? Hey, I got a real quick joke for you.
All right.
Here we go. No roofing. But, hey, what do you call Dolly Parton playing in a bathtub?
What do you call Dolly Parton playing in a bathtub? I actually know this punchline, but I'm going to let you do it, Chris.
Darling's in the stream.
I knew it.
Love you.
The way we used to hear that joke, what is Dolly Parton laying upside down in a creek, laying on her back in a creek? I hated that song. I'm going to be real with y'all. It wasn't just Kenny Rogers. I'm okay with Kenny Rogers, but it's my father. He was a big Dolly Parton fan, and we had a country radio station. And I think we played that song 3 times an hour for about 2 years. He would call up and the dude on the radio, he would call up and request it. Like, why don't you just take it home and play it? Islands in the stream. That was a huge hit for them too. All right, I see you over there, Andrew. We'll get to Andrew here in a minute. And yes, Trump today was sitting in front of a bunch of NASA people announcing that before the end of his term, we're going to be back, have a manned mission to the moon to start setting up a base to get to Mars. That's long been planned, but I'm sure some people will come up with some reason why they're faking it. I promise you, if Trump was faking it, CNN would be the first people on to say he was faking it. They're out of stuff to talk about with the man. There's no way he's going to fake a moon mission at this point. Back in a minute. All right, y'all. Let me get y'all updated on my venture with Project Lean Nation. This was something new for me. I've never been a pre-prepared meal guy because I didn't think I would legitimately stick to it when people would approach over the years and try to get, they sometimes they'll try to get us to do these things and eat the meals and lose the weight, and I was just like, whatever. I'm not gonna stick to it, so I'm not gonna endorse that product. I can't really do that legitimately. Two things happened to me that changed that. I got older and my metabolism seemed to come to a screeching halt. The things I used to do to drop a few pounds just wasn't working. Even the workout stuff was kind of hitting flat, and I knew I needed to shake it up. Then I found out when these guys approached us at Project Lean Nation that Forrest Walden is the owner of this franchise, and I knew Forrest through mutual friends from a number of areas of my life, and I was like, well, this will be done right. So let me check it out. So I went and met with them, and they told me how the whole thing worked. I got fired up about it. So fired up, talked to my wife and said, you want to do this with me? Because what I've learned, fellas and ladies, your accountability partner, if it's your spouse, y'all are going to eat together. And if one of you is trying to do one thing and one of you is somewhere else, it's going to be hard to stick to it. She was all in too, even though she's smoking hot and doesn't need to lose a pound. She, like me, just wanted to feel better. I mean, and that was my main thing. It wasn't even, my philosophy is if you're doing everything right, you're exercising and you're eating right, the weight will come off at some point because you're being healthy, but you're healthy. And healthy is what I was going for. I don't know what the side effects of all the shots are. Y'all can do that if you really need that help. But you're never going to the side effect of eating healthy and working out is better health and generally less weight. Well, the update is I've lost some more weight. I wasn't even trying. Not even thinking about that. That's not my main goal. Got on the scale this morning. I was like, well, I'm still going in the right direction. Clothes are fitting better. I've got more energy. I feel better. I'm eating balanced meals because these meals are thought through for you, packaged, flash frozen. So they taste really good. They're all microwavable. You can cook them in different ways. I tend to just hit the microwave because it's the convenience of it. Y'all, they're affordable too. When you compare to the cost of eating out, these meals are right down the lane of affordability, even for your whole family. Moms, man, you're racing around sometimes just to get food out to these people. And I know we all love to cook and have big family meals, but sometimes you can just sling these things in the microwave and you know your kids are eating right too. Y'all need to check these folks out. It's the Homewood location right there on the Main Drag in Homewood, sort of toward the Birmingham end of the Main Drag in Homewood. Does that make sense? Toward Vulcan. They've got a dedicated parking lot. It makes it a little easier to park and get in and out. So you send your order in, you use their app, send in your order, run and pick them up. They'll have everything boxed up, take them home, stick them in the freezer, and you're good to go. There are a couple of flavors. They have a couple of these meals that I will crave during the day, and I sort of looking forward to eating, especially in the evening when the show's over and I'm tired. That was always a problem too, just to be a little bit personal about it. Man, after 4 hours of standing here talking on the radio, and you can't really eat during that time. You can't snack if you're a host. The producers can do what they want, but when you're stuck here in front of this mic, segment to segment, you can't really eat. So I'm hungry. Sometimes I'm really hungry when the show's over, and that's when I screw up. If I'm driving home, I'll hit the Chick-fil-A or I'll hit a drive-through or do something convenient. And now I don't have to do that. I don't think I've hit a drive-through in 2 or 3 weeks. Probably why I'm losing weight too. This is good stuff. It's called Project Lean Nation. You can look them up online. Easiest thing to do is go pop in over in Homewood and go in there and get on the program. One more note about them is that one of the early things they're going to do is a body scan. Don't look at it as a scale, because scales have been lying to people for years about their health. Weight is a thing, but it's not the only thing, and this thing measures your body density. So then you'll find out your composition of your bone density, your muscle density, your water density, your fat, and then figure out from there what your metabolic rate is. And then you'll know how to do it, what your plan should be, and how much activity you need to go and do every day. Once you get on track and start seeing the progress, you get even better at it. You feel even better. And it took me changing things up for this to work, and it's working. I feel good. I feel good. Project Lean Nation in Homewood. Y'all go and see them. AJ, is Andrew still there? We'll go back to the phones. I'm digging all the calls today. Andrew's over on line 3. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, Leland, in your first segment, you were talking about how it might be a bad idea to name buildings or roads or bridges or whatever in honor of living people.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, I think this was back in like 2011 or something. You might remember the story. In Colorado, there was the sheriff. At one point, he was named the nation's sheriff of the year. I think he was like a big gun grabber. He was very outspoken about gun control and this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But his name was Patrick J. Sullivan Jr. And he was busted trying to exchange methamphetamine to another dude for sex.
Good Lord.
And he was arrested and was held in the Patrick J. Sullivan Jr. Detention Center.
They put him in his own detention center? That's outstanding.
That's right. That's all I got, Leland.
That's a good point, man. I say let's get the full record and see the full scorecard on somebody's life before we go name gigantic multi-million-dollar things after them. It's just a general thing. I've always felt that way. I just because there's this look. Unless if you're a private donor, you got your own money. It's your own money, and you want to donate it to some college to get your name on a building. Fine, that's between you and the college. But with public money, with taxpayer money, these multi-billion-dollar projects nowadays and these bridges, aren't they naming a prison after Kay Ivey? I think they decided to put her name on one of these new megaplexes that they're building here in Alabama, where the price keeps going up. Now, look, that's one of the areas of government I do not mind supporting. I want them to build every prison bed they can possibly build and put as many buttholes in there as they can possibly round up, because the rest of society is pretty sick of this stuff. And that's the only thing that ever works. You got to imprison people. So build them, build the hell out of them. Tax me, send me the bill. That's what government's supposed to be doing, not all this other stuff that they get involved in. But this aggrandizement of the other people with other people's money has always rubbed me the wrong way. And again, just like that, I can name other instances where suddenly you're having to take down the names on the bridges when somebody goes sideways and rename stuff in a hurry once somebody winds up committing some kind of criminal act. Like, I don't know, I was thinking about the San Francisco 49ers owner. I saw the video of him getting arrested today too, where they rolled up on him. He was in a car driving himself, where this San Francisco 49ers owner, some billionaire, I don't even know his name, and he gets busted trying to get him some humana in a trailer park in Ohio. Flew there for this meetup, and so it was, I guess, wound up being part of a sting operation. But he gets out of the car. It's the quietest dude I have ever seen be arrested. Like he first he played dumb, and then he looked nervous, and then he just kind of let him put the cuffs on him and got in the car. I thought, yep, he's probably been trained to just let the lawyer do the talking, shut the hell up. So there's that. Let me see what else I have. All right, I'm going to get on Tommy Tuberville's campaign again, because I keep telling y'all this, and I just got the heebie-jeebies. If he wasn't running against Doug Jones is as boring as a bowl of oatmeal, and his party has gone straight up commie, and I think it's still uphill for him. But the Tuberville people are giving him a gift by being so one-dimensional, is the best way I can put it, over the data center issue. Again, try to listen to me, because some people half-ass listen. I'm asking y'all to listen right now. You don't have to be opposed to data centers to listen to people who have concern about data centers. You don't have to be 110% in support of them either. Just listen to the concerns people have when their communities are having these giant things plop down. People have a right to ask questions. And if you're smart, you answer the questions, and then you build your case. You develop that rapport. The data centers will wind up getting built. There's a better way to do this than this sort of arrogant, we got to do them, and y'all just need to shut up, and I'm not listening. And then it gets worse for Tuberville. I've been warning his team for a week. Just soften your message, diversify your message, be open to listening to people. This is real, and it's bipartisan. There's legit concern. It's our birthright as citizens to be worried about things like this and to be able to ask questions of our government. Tuberville's in the Senate. It's not like he's in the private sector running for governor. So he's got a role here either way. and his people need to be listening, just like Trump today. Trump course corrected on the beef. I don't even say course corrected. He went in a better direction. In addition to the beef imports, he decided, hey, we're going after these cartels. It's what the consumers have been wanting. And he listened. I do believe public pressure and some very outspoken people got the word to the administration. If you really want to help, you need to go after the meat packers. And Trump began that today. It was just a beginning. That's a pivot. Well, let me rephrase. That's not even a 180 pivot. It's just an adjustment because you're listening. Politicians should learn to do that. They get so prideful and they'll dig in and think you've got to argue for argument's sake, and that's not getting us anywhere in this country on a lot of things. And I expect more from our own side. I'll still vote for Tuberville, of course. I like him. I think he's going to be a fine governor if he can surround himself with the right people. He's going to need some policy nerds around him. He's not a policy nerd. But I don't know who those people will be, and that concerns me a little bit too, based on what we're seeing with this. It's tone deaf. Here's what I'm getting at. AL.com today, never missing an opportunity to prop up Doug Jones, but they've got a story today where Tuberville took $25,000, which is fine. I mean, he's in a campaign, and believe it or not, that's not that big a check. I've run a major campaign in the state. People drop bigger checks than that on these campaigns because it's unlimited in Alabama as to your donation amounts. But a data center company that has ties in Alabama and has its sites on, they're based out of Dallas, but they've got their sites on some land, I think, over toward Tuscaloosa, where they want to do a project. They dropped 25 G's on the governor, on the future governor, Tommy Tuberville. Now, again, is that legit? Sure. They've got a right to lobby the government where they're about to build a multi-billion-dollar complex, but it looks bad. And it's easy through conjecture and guilt by association and whatever, just the optics of it, to throw a bone to the lefties over at AL.com or Doug Jones himself by just being sort of, I guess, calloused or insulated from the sensitivity to this issue that's out there. There's a gap. I'm going to explain it one more time, and then we'll go to the break. There's a gap between these two of anywhere from 8 to 12%. That's typical Democrat versus Republican statewide. Tuberville trounced this guy in the last race, but we didn't have issues like this. This is not abortion and gun control and all the bread and butter issues that one side wants or the other side wants, even though I would say Doug Jones is way off his game in terms of relating to common Alabamians over those issues. Tuberville's team need to be forcing him to make some forced errors too. He's already crawfished on these Democrat socialists. That's working in Coach Tuberville's favor. But this kind of stuff, just don't hand them a gift. Focus your message, refine it, listen to people, hold the town hall, listen to concerns, let them know you're going to still look out for regular folks when these behemoths come in and try to dump these things on people. They do not want to think their governor is just not going to listen and allow this kind of eminent domain type situations to continue. And I just think they don't have their ear to the ground. Some campaigns, and I've been part of them, will get data driven and they get consultant driven because, we want to quantify everything and make it very subjective things. We try to put data on it and pretend like those things are exact. Have y'all seen how bad and inaccurate polling has become lately? I've got theories on that too. But if you're just going to be data driven, you're going to make mistakes like that. If you don't have somebody that's got their feet on the ground in the state that knows what people are talking about or where the heat is, they're going to make some tone deaf mistakes. And I don't want to see them do that. I really want them to run a tight campaign and win. But then here comes AL.com with this big $25,000 donation from Big Data, right to it looks like the governor's getting bought, and that's a direct correlation with their one-dimensional message. I'm saying it out of very friendly advice, if anybody will listen on that campaign. Believe me, I've been there. Alabama Dental bringing you the show tonight, alabamadental.com. Y'all go get your teeth done at Alabama Dental. These are the best folks ever. Look, I'll go through the anatomy of it. They've got 4 specialists, 4 dentists. They have 4 specialties. And that's great because in any other time, you're going to get a lot of coverage there. You're going to get a lot of expertise, a lot of experience. But one day they sat back and said, well, since there's so many of us, why don't we stretch our hours out, staff accordingly, and be here a little late in the day for some people and open up on Saturdays? Whoever heard of that? That's caring for your patients. That's caring for your folks that are out there that can't always get in there. And that's exactly what they do at Alabama Dental, putting you first, giving you the expanded hours, the latest technology, a lot of expertise. It's a great practice. Dr. Brian's my personal dentist over there and my friend. Y'all go book an appointment and get in there. It's alabamadental.com, alabamadental.com. Back here in just a minute. All right, y'all, get on back in here. It's 3:55. Somehow we're almost halfway done for Friday. Good-looking Friday out there. No rain or thunderstorms tonight for the folks getting out there going to the ball games coming up here in just a couple of hours. Tabco bringing you the show tonight. That's Michael Lee and a great crew down there that can handle anything you want to bring to them with your ride. Tabco is just a full-service service center. They really started it as a performance automotive shop, that real high-end tuning cars and doing all that cool stuff. But just like a lot of business models, they thought, man, we can handle anything, so let's take care of everybody and do a lot of stuff. So they can do everything from oil changes and working on your tires to just common stuff that happens. And the way I'd like to do it is build relationships. And one way to do that is just go book them for an oil change and see what I mean. You see how they are, how professional they are, how nice Michael and his team are. Get your car in and out. They got a courtesy vehicle. They'll help you with that, or you can sit around and wait if it's something quick. And in between then and there, once you build that trust, when you see a light come on or you hear that weird squeaky sound or something's vibrating that used to not vibrate and you don't know what in the world's going on, in that moment, you're vulnerable. We have all felt like that with car trouble, and you need somebody you trust to your go-to. Michael's my go-to. It's Tapco Birmingham. The acronym stands for Total Automotive Performance and Total Automotive Performance Company. So, and online you can get them at tapcobeham.com if you want to reach out and get an appointment and get your ride down there. Again, do your basic maintenance. And if you do have something weird going on, you just can't figure it out, this is the shop where other mechanics will send cars when they can't figure it out. I mean, Michael's too nice a guy to brag on himself that way, but I'm telling you, I know this is a fact. They can figure it out at Tapco. It's TAPCO, tapcobeham.com. Y'all ask them for the Leland Live discount, too, while you're at it. Back to the space thing that got brought up a little while ago. Are we really going to have conspiracy theories if we decide to go back to the moon and put a flag down? Trump did a whole thing on this today where we're going to put down a lunar base. And we're going to, he said by the end of his term, I don't know the whole NASA schedule, but you know, in addition to the AI that we talk about, we're going back into a space age that we sort of retreated from for a long time under Barack Obama, which was the weirdest thing ever. I'll never forget him making some stupid statement about how NASA was really supposed to be about Muslim outreach. Nobody understood what he was talking about. And so eventually under his presidency, they killed the shuttle program, a program that we all, watched growing up, and of course all the challenges of that. But flights to the moon eventually ceased. The normal back and forth to the space stations didn't have the glamour that it had. But lately with SpaceX, the private sector coming along, SpaceX made the big announcement this week that they're opening a new launch site down in Louisiana. Huge story for the state of Louisiana. $100 billion investment, the biggest in their state's history. And, you've got Bezos out there playing around with it with Blue Origin. We're about to hit another space age where we're going to space again. And the whole idea is to put a manned mission on Mars. And the general theory is the way to do that is to create a sort of satellite base on the surface of the moon. We can get there, and then it's easier to launch a Mars mission from there. And my understanding is that even with today's technology, it's a 2-year flight to get to the red planet. Isn't that something? So, so Trump was out standing in front of the NASA folks saying, we're going back to the moon. We're going to put a man on the moon. We're going to put another flag on the moon. You think he'll put a Trump flag on the moon too? Will he rename the moon Moon America? I don't know. Who knows what happens? That's the fun part about the Trump presidency. You just don't ever know. It's a box of chocolates. Back here in a minute, Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Y'all stay tuned.